Hey friends, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina. I am your host and I am very excited to be here with you today to go over that fabulous little gray car seat that you see behind me. That is going to be the Peg Perego Primo Viaggio all-in-one car seat. So this is a new seat offered from Peg Perego. They are one of my favorite companies. It is a car seat that is made in Italy. It is an all-in-one car seat, meaning that it'll work from 5 pounds all the way through to 120 pounds. And it is currently available for $499.99. So let's talk about it. Let's get into all the specific details and see what we think of the Peg Perego Primo Viaggio all-in-one. All right, so I have it here in the gray color. It does also come in a color called Crystal Black, which is black and gray, and then they have my favorite, which is Licorice, which is the sort of black leather option for this guy. I already sold it off my floor model in the Licorice, so that is why we're showing it here in the gray. But it does come with a cup holder included in the purchase price. It can be attached to either side of the car seat. I'm going to bring it up to the camera and show it. It's sort of a two-part cup holder, and this is like typical of Peg. It's probably too nice for what consumers actually need. You can separate off this gray component on top for later on or larger cups, but as you can see, it has sort of a claw top and then that guy for the rest of it. So that's included in the purchase price. We always do love a good cup holder. So as I indicated, this is going to be a seat that will work for all the way through each stage. Now, one thing that it will not do, it will not click onto a car seat because it is not a portable infant seat. So portable infant seats are a different type of seat altogether. This is an all-in-one seat. So this means it'll go backward, rear facing from 5 to 50 pounds, forward facing from 26.5 to 65 pounds, and then also a booster seat from 4 years old, 40 pounds, and up to 120 pounds, 49 inches tall. So it can really do a lot on paper. And let's talk about some of the things that are going to make this extra special besides just, you know, the fact that it is an all-in-one. It's made in Italy. So Peg Perego, Peg is a family-owned company. They are out of Milan. So they have been around since I think like the 40s, but they are family owned, and so it is manufactured there, so we do love that. The fabric is going to be flame retardant free. Another thing that's going to be special about this car seat is that it has a 10-year expiration, and it has a 5-year warranty provided you buy it from a small brick and mortar store. So if you're going to buy it from Amazon, you would get a 2-year warranty. So any big box retailer like that, that's not a specialty retailer or a Brixie retailer, you would get a shorter warranty. So if you buy it through a small local store or a store like mine, destinationbabykids.com, you do get a 5-year warranty. So something to keep in mind. But it is a 10-year expiration from date of purchase, not date of manufacture. So I really do think that that is extra special. Most car seats, it's from date of manufacture versus date of purchase. So, or excuse me, the other way around. This one's atypical because it's from date of purchase, not date of manufacture. Maybe I did say it correctly, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. You can buy it, the box can say it was made 2 years ago. The warranty starts from the day you buy it, okay? There, so now we're more clear. The expiration as well. The other thing about this seat that you're going to notice is that it does have quite a bit of padding in it. So let's talk about that. It comes with a 3-part padding cushion set. You get a head piece and then a body piece and a little butt piece. Now the head piece in typical fashion is going to be for children in a rear facing mode exclusively. And these two pieces here, these are going to be for up to 14 pounds. So between 5 and 14 pounds, you will use that in this car seat in a rear-facing mode. And then there is an additional piece for the fanny. This is going to be able to be used in a rear-facing mode up to 26.5 pounds. So once your kiddo gets past about 26, 27 pounds, in rear-facing mode, you would definitely take this out. This is not meant to be used in forward-facing mode ever. So something to sort of keep in mind, that was in the book. The seat obviously is going to look a lot larger once we remove that infant cushioning, which makes sense because it's going to go, as I said, backward, forward, as well as giving you extra height for when it turns into the booster seat. Now, something that's atypical about this seat, there's a lot of stuff that's unusual about it. One thing that's unusual is that it has some rotation on its base, but that rotation is never able to be utilized in a meaningful way for parents like taking kiddo in and out of the car. So I would not call this a rotational car seat, but it does have the option to rotate on its base to turn into rear facing. So on the back of the seat, there's an ARB bar that's sort of hidden, which means anti-rebound bar. You're gonna pull, you're gonna make an extension, and then the seat will go ahead and rotate. And now we have it getting toward our rear facing configuration. So as you can see, what would make more sense is for me to actually hook it up. So I'm going to turn the entire seat sideways so you can see what's going on. Thank you for your patience. Now, anti-rebound bar is going to go ahead and sit against the back of the seat. And we've got our seat in our backward facing mode. The other thing that's kind of interesting about this seat is that it is 6-position recline. So it has, let's actually extend that. That'll make that a little easier. But it has multiple different positions. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But you can't use every position in every orientation. Now, thank goodness, if we look, I'm gonna bring this over and I'm gonna show you guys initially here the backward facing side first, or rear facing mode first. There is a sticker right on here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it has different weights and different check-off points. So depending on how much your child weighs, they're gonna have a guidance for what recline level to put the seat in. So rear facing berth, excuse me, not berth, but like 5 to 11 pounds, you would wanna be in position 5 or 6. Well, of course, that's gonna make the most sense because that's our most reclined. You'd have all your pillows in there, and that would be your setup for a kiddo in backward facing mode. And you do set the recline prior to installing the seat. So yes, there's a bunch of different recline modes, but again, this is true of like 99% of car seats. You adjust the recline prior to installing the seat. Now the seat will install with the seatbelt or the lower anchors. It includes both. There was some interesting stuff that I noticed about the seat for belt installation. One thing I want to give them credit for, they've made a relatively narrow seat. It's 18.5 inches wide, and it does have seatbelt belt guides on the interior of the seat to aid in installation in seatbelt install mode. I would argue this seat is generally easier to install with lower anchors than with seatbelt. Now, like all convertible or all-in-one seats, your lower anchors are going to have some limitations on the weight. Your lower anchor limitation for rear facing is, I did write this down. Oh, it's gonna be 35 pounds in rear facing, and then forward facing, your lower anchor top out is 40 pounds. So once your child were to get past that weight limit, you would go ahead and reinstall the seat using seatbelt. But I would probably say at that point, when kids are that heavy, you would make that switch over, or you'd probably be trying to sort out a different positioning situation. You'd probably be reevaluating some stuff about the seat at that point anyway. So just keep in mind, this is typical in alignment with all car seats, but the rear facing weight limit is 35 on the lower anchor and then 40 for forward facing on the lower anchor. Of course, it includes the top tether. We would always use the top tether in a forward facing installation. But one thing I did have a question for them about, and really their book was excellent. The instruction book on this car seat is fabulous because it makes stuff very explicit and very clear. So I want to give Peg definite props for that. It's a really, really well-written car seat instruction manual. But the only thing that I guess I did not have clarity on is if you can leave it top tethered while it's installed in booster seat mode. It does indicate that it can be lower anchored, but I wasn't sure if it could also be top tethered. So we would want some clarification on that. And then also, I would like a little clarification on them about buckle positioning while installing with latch or seatbelt. It does look like in the manual they give you some visual aid on where the seat belt buckle, the harness buckle needs to be for that type of installation, but it would be useful if they had the specific language indicating forward or behind the belt. I believe it needs to be forward based on the picture, but again, that would be a little area of clarification. If I were to give them some constructive feedback, that would be basically about it. The material, like I said, is the flame retardant free. Inside the seat is EPS and EPP foam. The pads do come out actually really easily for cleaning. Again, I'm gonna spin this, but we wouldn't be spinning this to take kiddo in and out of the car. This is just to kind of give the viewing audience a little bit better. I'll just turn it forward facing, but it gives the viewing audience a little bit clearer ability to see what I'm talking about. The pad for the lower part comes out quite easily. And something else that I was annoyed at initially with this pad coming out, it has a zipper, which is very fancy. Well, that wasn't the part that annoyed me. What surprised me was that this little crotch belt piece was attached to the lower seat, but that does remove with Velcro, and they can be used completely independently of each other. So I would give Peg, again, A+ for ingenuity there. I think that's smart. You do get your harness retainers like you do on other Peg car seats, meaning to get this up and out of the way, you're gonna pull the harness up, and then there's a little bit of elastic that those pieces can tuck into. This makes life easier for installation, definitely. Another nice feature about this seat that I think I should call out before we go any further is that when you do want to convert it to a booster, it's very clear what you're supposed to do. You buckle the chest pieces together, they lock in there. The lower buckle goes there, so there's specific spots for everything. And then all of this padding comes back up and over, so it's a very quick switch from moving to a 5-point harness to a booster. So I do think that that is a really nice feature. And of course you wouldn't have to like go crazy with that, but just something to be aware of. Now, there were some unusual things about this seat that I caught in the manual. Because that manual was so clear, maybe they should have made it more confusing. But this is my job, right? I read manuals and I catch this kind of stuff. So there are 12 different height positions on the headrest. So that's something that they call out. There's 12 different spots where this can come up and down. And if you look on the back of the seat, something that's interesting is that on the back of this seat, spin this around, there's a red indicator that reads maximum height rear facing. Meaning that when this is in a rear-facing mode, they don't want you to go past that red line and have the headrest come up any further. And in fact, in the book, it explicitly states positions 9 through 12, so the highest head positions, those are only for forward-facing. For rear-facing, you are only allowed to use positions 1 through 8. What kind of weirdo would care about that? Me. Why do we care about this? Because that means we have a lower seated torso height in a rear-facing mode. So the seat says, I hold 50 pounds backward facing. That's really good, but how long of a body can actually sit in this in a rear-facing position? Your shoulder harness height tops out here at 14 inches in a rear-facing mode. Now, to be fair, I'm actually pretty critical of, let's say, the Nuna Rev car seat, because that seat only holds 40 pounds, 40 inches in either direction. And that seat also has a 15-inch seated torso height in both directions. That's actually 1 additional inch in a backward facing mode in that car seat, in the torso, that you would get versus this seat, which theoretically holds 50 pounds rear facing and 65 forward facing. Now, in our forward facing mode, you're gonna get an additional 3 inches of seated torso height. So it goes from 14 to 17, which is good. It should, especially considering this is supposed to be an all-in-one offering. But something I really did wanna call out, because that is more atypical. You know, it's not the most unusual thing in the world, but it is just something to be aware of on this seat. If that were something that was exciting to you about it, just keep in mind your backward face on this guy, although it claims to hold the 50 pounds, does top out at about 14 inches of seated torso height. So that was one interesting thing that I spotted about it. It does have the Kinetic pods on the side, so these are the little pieces that we spin. And you want to make sure that whatever is closest to the door that this is installed in, that you engage. They talk about there being like additional leg room with that extension on your rear facing anti-rebound bar. That can only be in its shortest position when your kid is less than 33 pounds. So the minute that they're heavier than 33 pounds, if they're still in a backward mode, you'd want to go ahead and extend that leg rest out. I would encourage you to just install it that way to begin with. And then your recline. Again, getting back to the recline, the thing that was useful is that the seat is marked very clearly with these charts. Ooh. So this is our forward facing one. And on there, it says like what positions can be for either forward facing or for booster. So if you're gonna use it in a booster seat mode, you can only have it reclined in positions 1 through 4, according to the chart on the side. If you're gonna do it in just a regular upright forward facing mode, you can do any position 1 through 6. So you've got lots of choices, but again, you would need to preset that before you install it. Now, my biggest criticism of this seat is going to be, like I said before, I do feel it's a bit short in a rear-facing torso height, considering that it is an all-in-one seat. And then the other thing that's hard for me about this guy is that it's a booster seat, but it's a booster seat that tops out at 49 standing inches. Peg makes excellent booster seats. So the fact that the booster is built into this, I understand that it is more cost effective and probably less annoying for the opportunity cost to go purchase again down the road. But I would still make a really strong argument that I'd probably prefer just like a convertible seat and a Peg booster seat, because I like their booster seats so much, and I think that there's some value there that you wouldn't get here. The pan of the booster seat, if you were going to use it as a booster, is 11 inches by 11 inches. If you think about like the Flex 120 booster from Peg Perego, that's simply a booster seat. That one has 14 inches of width and 12.5 inches of depth, so it would accommodate a bigger body. And it goes to 63 inches of standing height. So again, taller kid, bigger kid would probably benefit from a booster specific booster versus an all-in-one car seat. But I think that's gonna be true of all the all-in-one car seats. I don't think any of the all-in-one car seats do boosters amazingly well. What I do think this one offers, though, as far as booster goes, is very clear indication of where seatbelts go when we're using it that way. Also, I think the ability for the kiddo to get to the buckle stock with this is very good. Biggest criticism I would have is that seatbelt installation isn't exactly super duper simple, but to be fair, a lot of 3 across is garbage for installation, and this one is definitely better than that. And it's nice that they've put lock-offs on their product. They don't have it on their Kinetic 565 convertible car seat, so you do get it on the all-in-one. Okay, so that was a lot of information to cover. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. I've had the bottom material off the full time, but it exposes the inside, and then it does point out that it would be what is referred to as an open belt path for installation, which is always easier than having a closed belt path for installation. So I do think that that is a success on Peg's part. There's a zipper on the front and then like 4 additional snaps on the back to keep that all together. But as I said, available in quite a few colors, 2 blacks and a gray, $499.99. You can buy it directly off my website, destinationbabykids.com. I would encourage you to go there and get it, because remember, again, you get the 5-year warranty. You would only get a 2-year warranty if you get it off some like gross site like Amazon. And then other things to know, my channel, like, comment, subscribe. What do you think? Is this a seat that you could see yourself using from all the way through baby to booster? Would it maybe make sense in a grandparent's car? Different types of application maybe make more sense for this. Do you have a different all-in-one car seat that really you're in love with or hate, and this might be better or worse for whatever reason? Let me know below. And again, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully we can see you in our next video comparing this to some other all-in-one car seats. Thanks so much for watching.